Hello everyone and welcome to another video with Cass on the Maizuma channel. Okay guys, so today I'm joined by SiberianHat
Hello.
and Rubber Mix. Yeah, he expresses himself with noises. All right. So recently we have been messing around with mob elevators, and in this video we're basically trying to comment a little bit about how we use it to do mob elevators using water for uh, the overworld, where those systems were pretty useful, especially if you find mob spawners. They are underground usually, so you need mob elevators if you want to bring the mobs up, and how we are planning to change this so that it's going to work in the new update. Because if you don't know, in Minecraft 1.14, the water is going to change, the behavior of water. So things like that, where we have an alternating pattern with signs and water, is not going to work anymore because water is going to flow through those blocks. And we're trying to come up with a system that's possibly going to work with the new changes.
Yeah, just hoping.
Just hoping. So in the past we used it to have this elevator. This is a very old design, and yeah, you can see how this works. Basically, once a mob has its head inside a water block, it tries to swim up, and this is how this works. And this was a design introduced before the introduction of baby mobs in the game, so it doesn't account for baby villagers as well as baby zombies or anything like that.
because because they are one tile and they're going to get stuck on the air pockets.
Yes, and also in the new update, we're not going to be able to do that, and we have a big problem with this area specifically, because since the water is not going to be, we're not going to be able to hold the water here. If we have a villager there, this villager is going to get stuck. So yeah, and there's nothing we can do to hold the water and still have the entities flowing through a block without a hitbox. So we came up with this solution here, and I'm going to show you how this works now. So same thing as before, we have the mobs coming from one side and just a tube here. So what you have to do to make this work is just use a single water source, which is pretty amazing because it's much easier to build. Just place your water source here, and the reason why I'm placing this here is because I want the water stream to end exactly here. And once you have the water flowing forward, you dig a hole here in this specific order, and the mobs are now capable of swimming up.
And we are capable to do this magic because right here we are only using non-solid blocks around the water. Because as you can see, if we change one block to be solid, the villager are just going to stop going up. And as soon as we change it back, they start going up again.
Yeah, so this is a very weird behavior, guys, but we made sure to test it everywhere we could. So yeah, as Sabrina had demonstrated, they will stop flowing. This is really weird. And those blocks here on the diagonals don't matter. So yeah, oh, sorry. So yeah, you can have solid blocks all around it, but with the cross shape of the tube section, you need to have transparent blocks. You can use leaves if you think those are cheaper, or you can use glass if you want to watch them, but just make sure not to have any solid blocks within the walls of the tube.
And the nice thing about this new system is that you just have to have one single bucket of water. If you have a water tower that is 50 or more blocks up, this system here, the old one, is a pain to do because you have to alternate between signs, which are not the simplest thing to place, and water buckets, which are not also simple to make because you have to get the water and bring it up.
So as you can see, there is a little downside with the system. So mobs, they stop right here, and we basically need another mob to come in the system and push the next mob in, and this will work. But as you can see, it can transport baby villagers and everything. And I just want to make sure to show you guys what's going on down here with this section. So you can see that the string responsible for bringing the mobs inside the elevator, it cannot touch the stream coming down from up there. And we just have a fence here so that we make sure that the baby villagers or baby monsters don't go inside this section here.
In the next update, the water update, the water is going to go through the fence, but that's not going to be a problem for us because the hitbox of the fence is not going to let the mobs go down anyway.
There's another option for this because as you can see, we are assuming that the water will still behave as it is now. And it is like this. Every time water flows, it searches for the lowest position it can go. And this is why the water flows towards this direction and not to the other side. Another option that we could use here is to simply block this. You know, you can see now that the streams are together, they joined. And we can just have another block here so the water has a place to go. Then we can block this. So now we can see the flow. We don't need this gap anymore. And now we can break this. Okay, this still works, but not as good as it was before. So as you can see now, when the mobs go, we have lots of mobs here. So let me try to place maybe one by one here, and you will see the problem now. The mobs now they stay here like halfway, and there's a chance that they will drown. I will try to introduce just one more villager as soon as we get, we get with only one villager there, so you guys will, so it will be more clear what the problem is.
You
So
can
you can
already
see
see
now,
it.
yeah, they are stuck here halfway, and if we change it back, this problem will not happen anymore. So just create a little pocket there, and now the mobs will do what they are supposed to do.
And that happens because the water source right here is pushing the mobs. When they enter this water stream here, they are going to go to be pushed towards this direction.
In the worst case, when you want to have a really big tower, just like you see here, the problem is the mobs can eventually drown because there are no air bubbles. So as you can see here, we are trying to create air bubbles here, and SiberianHat is going to explain how the system works.
So with the system, if you want to have a single tower going up a very high altitude, um, and you want to prevent the mobs from getting from drowning in the middle, we can use these bubbles that are created with pistons. Every so often, with a clock, a piston is going to fire very quickly and create a small bubble. And with that, we can make the mobs not drown. As you can see, we actually just need one clock for tower, but over here we have two clocks because if you want to, we can also have in the middle of the tower a different section that makes the mobs go to another direction. So you can choose if you want to make the mobs continue go up or if you want to make them go to the side, as you can see right here. And if you want to make them go up, you just need to close this right here and they are going to continue up. But if you just have one tower and you don't need to have cross path, you can just have one clock for all of the tower and it's going to work just fine. The problem that we are finding though is that this is not going to work great if you want to have one tall mobs in the system, so like baby villagers or baby zombies. And because of that, we also wanted to create another system that is going to work just fine with them, which is this one behind. So this one is a system that can't use a single tower, but to prevent the mobs from getting drowned, they are going to every so often, like 20 blocks or something, they are going to breed right here and go to the side. So the good side about the system is that you don't need to use any redstone. You just have to create the path with the water, and the system is going to work just fine.
Also, we want to show how it behaves with both uh, baby villagers as well as regular villagers all mixed up. Let's try to make a math here and see how the system behaves. So let's really try to stress the system and see how it works.
And over here we are using the same fence trick that we used before to make the baby villagers go up, and so they don't go through this block right here. Also, as a bonus, right here, up here we have a system that is going to separate between the baby villagers and the adult ones. And we also wanted to create a system that when the baby villagers grow up, they are going to go to another water stream, because previously we are using signs to make so the babies stay on the sign, and above them there will be a water source. So when the babies grow up, their heads are going to be on the water source. But right here we just change it to a slab. So when they grow up, their hitbox is going to be on the water stream above, and they're going to go to the next one.
Yeah, it's we really needed an alternative for this because we use this mostly for villager trading systems where you want only the adult villagers. So yeah, we wanted to make sure that it's still possible to have baby villagers become adults before they go inside any system that you're trying to control.
Also, the system behind that is going to separate between the adults and the baby ones can also be used to separate between baby villagers and other mobs. So you can just kill the baby villagers, and if you want, you can use the single water stream, single water tower that we showed before to make the mobs that are too tall to go up.
We know that we're mostly speculating here, but mostly we tried to get rid of anything that we use to hold water back for now, and hopefully this will work for the next update. There's a big chance that it will.
The only thing that is holding the water is solid blocks, and we believe that this behavior is going to stay the same. But we are not using anything like signs or fences or half slabs to hold the water, because they won't be able to in the next update.
So, guys, thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.
So I think that's basically it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Tring,